Hi boys and girls, thrilling Thursday. We're going to keep talking about plants today, but before we talk about something new, we're going to review a little bit from yesterday. Do you remember what we talked about yesterday? We talked about plant parts. We learned the different parts that a plant has and what each part does for the plant. So we're going to review really quick. Okay, let's go. All right, this is our first plant part. Do you recognize what it is? If you guessed roots, you're correct. And roots are the part of the plant that absorbs water and minerals from the soil. They help hold the plant in the ground so it doesn't fall over. Does this plant part look familiar? Take a guess. These are the stems. Stems are the strong part of the plant that help hold the plant up and let nutrients and water flow to the leaves all the way from the roots. What about these? What plant part could they be? If you guessed leaves, great job. The leaves are the part of the plant that collects sunlight and make food for the plant. Wow, those sure are beautiful. What's the name for this plant part? Great job! These are the flowers, which are the part of the plant that makes seeds and fruit. They're usually colorful in order to attract bees and animals to help with pollination. Ooh, and we saved the trickiest for last. What plant part is this? If you guessed fruit, great job. The fruit is the part of the plant that surrounds the seed in order to protect it. Now I know these are pictures of tomatoes that we normally think of as a vegetable, but as a plant part, it's called the fruit because it surrounds the seeds. Great job, boys and girls. Good review. Okay, now we're going to put all our plant knowledge to the test by doing a plant scavenger hunt in your backyard. It's going to be fantastic. So for our scavenger hunt, I've made a list of different things that I'd like to see if you can find in your backyard. But make sure as you're doing it that you have your parents' permission to go ahead and go outside. Make sure you always ask first. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to look through the scavenger hunt list to see what types of things you're going to be looking for when you go outside. So here's our image of our backyard scavenger hunt. This is a list of 12 different plant-related items I'd like you to find outside. The first says a tree with the biggest stem you can find. Make sure you know what the stem is. If you don't remember, check out our plant parts video or the review at the beginning of this one. Next, you can find a plant that has fruit on it. Again, if you're not familiar with what that part is, check out our plant parts video. And the same goes for our next one, visible roots. We're trying to find roots as a plant part. Afterwards, I'd like you to find 3 different shapes of leaves. And then see if you can find a purple plant. Afterwards, look for seeds, then a seedling. And if you're not familiar with what a seedling looks like, go ahead and rewatch our plant life cycle video. After that, see if you can find a yellow plant. Next, see if you can find a plant with a bee on it. Remember, that's called pollination when a bee is landing on a plant. Just make sure you leave the bee alone and don't touch it. The last 3 items are a flower with the sun shining on it, a vegetable plant, and a plant you know the name of. While you're doing your scavenger hunt, every time you find an item on the list, I'd like you to either take a picture of the plant, or if you can't take a picture, I'd like you to draw a picture of the plant that you're able to find. We're going to use those drawings or the pictures that you take in tomorrow's activity. To give you an idea, this is what your assignment will look like for tomorrow. It's on Google Classroom and it's called My Plant Presentation, and this is where you'll be putting your pictures. The first step, though, is to type in your name. So I'll type by Mrs. Kuhn. And now we'll just go through each of the slides. The first slide goes along with the first item in our scavenger hunt, a tree with the biggest stem you can find. Now you can choose to upload your pictures, or you can choose to replace the image and search on the web like we have for other presentations. So if I couldn't find a tree trunk to take a picture of, or if I couldn't get my picture onto my Google presentation, I can always search for an image to put one in instead. When I find the one I like, I replace it. On the left-hand side is a text box, and the text box says, "Tell me about your tree." You can tell me where you found your tree. Was it in your yard, or was it in your neighborhood, or was it in Cougar Woods? The next slide is where you're going to put your picture of a plant that has fruit on it, and then label the flower, the stem, the roots, the fruit, and the leaves. You can drag the arrows around to point exactly where in your picture those plant parts are. This slide is where you'll put 3 different shapes of leaves. That's why there are 3 different boxes for pictures. The next slide has 2 picture spots, one for a purple plant and one for a yellow plant. Again, if you didn't find one, you can choose a picture from online. This slide is where you find a picture of seeds, and then you write what plant are those seeds from. The last slide is where you upload a plant you know the name of. And then on the left, you can type what the plant's name is and what do you know about it. You could even tell us a fun fact if it's a plant that you helped garden or plant yourself.